Our next speaker is Zimo Shu, presenting her talk titled Too Much, Still Unbroken. Zimo is a master's student in applied statistics from Chengdu, China. An interesting fact about her is that she loves music and dancing. All right, now I can cut a rug too. Some of y'all don't know that term or that phrase, but it's okay. Please join me in welcoming Zimo.
You just overthink. People have said that to me my entire life. For a long time, I believed them. I thought maybe I was really too sensitive, that my reactions were a flaw I need to fix in order to belong. My earliest memory of this goes back to when I was 5 years old. I was standing on a stage at school. I was supposed to perform like all the other kids around me, but I froze. It wasn't fear in the way people usually imagine it. It was the noise, the talking, the movement. At the time, it probably looked like refusal, or shyness, or weakness. But all I remember is discomfort, being overwhelmed by everything all at once. I didn't have a word for them, but that was my very first encounter with what I would later learn to call sensitivity. As I grew older, moments like this kept repeating. I became very aware of tones, atmospheres, and unspoken signals. Sounds, moods, and even small shifts in energy registered with me immediately. Family and friends usually responded by labeling it. You think too much, you're just too sensitive, just relax. I feel somehow misunderstood. So over time, I learned maybe my sensitivity was something I should hide. So I learned to fit in. I stayed in busy environments that drained me. I went to large social events, and afterward, it often took me a long time to recover. It wasn't until much later that I began to understand what sensitivity actually is. Sensitivity isn't rare. According to recent research, roughly 1/5 to 1/3 of the population scores high on measures of sensitivity. That means in this room today, roughly 15 of us probably have sensitive traits. And yet, people with those traits are often told explicitly or implicitly that they are too much. In psychological, high sensitivity is a personality trait characterized by heightened emotional, social, and environmental perceptions. High sensitive individuals tend to process information more deeply, especially interpersonal cues, social signals, and contextual details. This is not a disorder. So, imagine someone who is highly sensitive. We often picture a person who is super introverted or emotionally fragile or easily overwhelmed. However, sensitivity is not just about feeling more, it's also about perceiving more. For a long time, though, I didn't see it that way. I treated my sensitivity as a technical problem. I thought it could be easily adjusted, just like fixing a syntax error in a Python program. I tried so hard to force myself to be different. I kept assuming that if something felt hard, it meant I was not capable. I even read a book that I randomly found in a bookstore called The Power of Insensitivity. And it doesn't work, trust me. The real shift came later during my sophomore year of university. That summer, I lived alone for the very first time. So without constant noise or social expectations, I began to notice something more important. I was not avoiding people because I was incapable. I was avoiding environments that consumed more energy than I had. When I stop to force myself to fit into those environments, I actually feel lighter. And looking back, I realized I didn't even like that version of me, that who I was trying to be before. So that was the first time I began to see sensitivity not as a limitation, but as information. Maybe sensitivity wasn't an error at all. Maybe it doesn't need to be fixed. Maybe it is simply the way I move through this world. Once I stopped to force myself to be different, sensitivity slowly became a gift instead of a curse. It became a tool for understanding, for connection, for empathy, and for care. Standing on this stage right now, looking back at that 5-year-old kid frozen under an ice, I want to say, living in a way that is genuinely who you are is not wrong. Being too much does not mean being broken. And sometimes staying unbroken means refusing to become less than who you are. Thank you.